Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing a Manchester City rebuild. And while Manchester City are a very good club, this last season that they had definitely wasn't the best. And while Pep is a great manager, one bad season here in FIFA, that's enough to get you sacked. So that's exactly what the Man City board have done. They have sacked Pep Guardiola and they have signed me as his replacement with one goal. Become the greatest team. That involves being the best in England and being the best in Europe by winning the Champions League. We take control of Man City with 2 games left in the 2025 season. Obviously, we have players like Kevin De Bruyne leaving the club. We have a couple people loaned out that will be returning, like Kyle Walker, for example, as well as Couto. And then we're also going to be looking to sell a couple of players, depending on their age, depending on their overall. And we're going to go ahead and check that all out. Now, before we start transfer listing and loaning out more players, we know that Kevin De Bruyne will be leaving the club. Therefore, we have decided to go for Florian Wirtz as a replacement. We quickly got straight into the action, talking money, talking business, and we were willing to pay a high price in order to pull this off. In a 180 million budget for Florian Wirtz is enough to get him. Then we hopped into some wage negotiations to confirm this signing, giving him a crucial role, looking to sign him for 4 years. No clause in order to make sure no other team buys him off of us almost instantly. Then we went ahead and gave him some good wages in order for him to accept, and just like that, Florian Wirtz would join us next season. It would be a new Manchester City player. As we look at the team, there are definitely spots I want to upgrade. Obviously, we have the likes of Rodri in here, but I really want to buy someone else in order to help him out. Maybe upgrading on the fullbacks and potentially another center back. But we'll have to see. For now, Florian Wirtz, our first signing. Now, before signing anyone else, I decided to move things around to see what I was truly missing. I added who I would normally play in their position. Then we saw what areas we had to fix. Now, in real life, Trent Alexander-Arnold is most likely going to go to Real Madrid. However, this isn't a realistic rebuild. Therefore, he has 1 month left in his contract. We are able to approach him and have him sign with us for the upcoming season, and that's exactly what we went out and did. We gave him that important role, 4 years, and then we gave him some decent wages in order for him to accept. And just like that, Trent Alexander-Arnold would be joining us, and he would become a new Manchester City player as of the next season. Now, taking advantage of people who could become free agents with 1 month left on their contracts, we had these 2 boys from Lille, and we decided to go ahead and pick up both Angel Gomez and Jonathan David. And the same little trick, we have to skip negotiations with the team since there's only 1 month left. And we just, sweet talk these boys, make them really think they're going to be a huge, important part of the club, when in reality, maybe Jonathan David will be important. But Angel Gomez, I'm not too sure. But anyhow, he signs for Manchester City, and next season he will join us. We also hop into some negotiation signings with Jonathan David, most likely going to be our backup striker behind Erling Haaland. And I was stuck between giving him an important or rotation role, but in order to make sure he signs, I make sure to tell him that he's going to get that important role. Probably not, but hey, it's whatever. As long as we get that signature on the contract, that's all that matters. We give him some decent wages. We give him a nice little bonus to sign with us. However, he asks for more. We got that money though, so we go ahead and accept, and just like that, Jonathan David becomes a new Manchester City player, and he will also join us next season. Now, as I look at the team, I'm going to go ahead and transfer list and loan list any players who I don't really see fitting into my tactics, whether it's overall, age, or both. I'm looking to bring in some new, younger players and potentially even some higher overall players. So I'm just going to go through and do that to absolutely everyone. I'll do this once more the following season once some people return from loan. But for now, we are trying to get rid of some older junk on the bench. As we now hop into our first match, we only have 2 games left of the season. We're trying to earn that Champions League spot, and a 3-2 win to Bournemouth helps us get closer to that. Now we get a couple offers for Guduan, and I'm not afraid of strengthening either of these two sides, as Guduan, I don't think he'll do too much, so I accept both of the offers. Now hopping into the final match of the season. Technically not my first season, but we are able to get the job done. And just like that, we secure Champions League for next season. We get some more offers for people like Grealish, Kovacevic, Stones, and they're not part of my plans, so I'm going to go ahead and accept all of them, including Grealish, who we bought for 100 mil, now selling for way cheaper. Accepting another transfer, this time for Ortega, as he is not in my plans for the future. Gundogan out of the club, sold. Jack Grealish out of the club and sold as well. Accepting some more transfer offers, this time for Akanji from FC Bayern Munich. And John Stones has been sold to Atletico Madrid. Kovacevic out, headed to Borussia Dortmund, as we also have Ortega headed to Bournemouth. And then we have Akanji headed to FC Bayern. Now in the league, we finished 3rd. We won the Community Shield, runners-up FA Cup, round 4 Carabao Cup, and playoff position for Champions League. We gotta improve. And as we hop into my true first season, Florian Wirtz arrives, ready to wear that Manchester blue jersey, as he is our newest and first signing of the season. Now we look to the free agents in order to reinforce ourselves a little bit more. We found these 2 guys, maybe not the highest overall, but we could use them in order to make some quick money, or simply loan them out and maybe they come back as superstars. So we're going to go ahead and try to pick up both. First, this man right here, I'm not even going to try to say his name because I'm going to butcher it. I know that in real life he plays for LAFC, but right here in FIFA, he is a free agent, so we're going to go ahead and pick him up. Even though he is a low rating, that wage is huge. However, he becomes the newest Manchester City player. Next up, we have this regen, William Baker. Very young, seems to have a decent overall. Maybe he has some good potential too. So we look to pick him up. Most likely going to send him out on loan, and hopefully he comes back like a freaking beast. His wages are pretty high too, especially for his age. But hey, money is money. We go ahead and pick him up as well. And another signing to this Manchester City squad. Apart from our 2 signings, all the other signings that we made in the previous season are all here, and this team is freaking huge. Since it's so big, we are going to go ahead and transfer list, loan list a bunch of players who I don't intend on using either in this season or at all. And as well as for the loanies, I'm just not going to show all of that because it's going to take way too much time. We continue to look to upgrade our squad as we're looking at Alejandro Balde. There is a release clause, but we think we can go for a little bit cheaper as we get into some negotiations with Hansi Flick, Barcelona's manager, offering 72 million. And just like that, money talks, especially with Barcelona. They accept. Now it's time to talk wages. As we open up now with the player looking to secure that signature on the contract, we offer him a crucial role. 5 years, as he is very young and he can continue to grow. no release clause, and obviously going to give him a nice little bump in the wages as well as a nice signing bonus. Is this going to be our new signing? Yes! Alejandro Valde is the newest recruit to this new Manchester City side. And while we were already in a meeting with Hansi Flick, you know what? Let's go ahead and look for Araujo, skipping the release clause as we think we can get him for cheaper. Our initial request, 120 million. But Hansi Flick is not happy with that. He wants a lot more. And he storms out of our office. We gave him a couple minutes to cool down, and we came back this time looking at Pedri. And knowing that he was going to want a lot more money, we decided to give some good, transfer some for Pedri. And he still asked for more. I would go ahead and edit the sell-on clause because I don't plan on selling Pedri. In order for me to be able to decrease the actual transfer fee, maybe save myself a couple $1,000,000, but he still wants more. I try one more time, risking it all, trying to save 7 million, and there we get it done. Now on to the wages. As Pedri came in, we teleported. We're in a fancy restaurant now, giving him some crucial squad role. 5 years, beautiful, no release clause, and now for the wages. Can we secure Pedri signing on this contract and make him the newest Manchester City recruit? Yes, we can. Pedri is the newest Manchester City player to join us. As we bring in new players, I also want to bring in my own style, so I go ahead and edit the formation as well as changing the way that the players, play and changing their roles. Obviously, I sold Ortega, and that is because I am looking to make Anderson my backup goalkeeper as I look to sign Donnarumma, a younger goalkeeper. He just finished winning the Champions League with PSG, and as his contract comes to an end, we are able to pick him up for quite cheap as we now hop in to some wages. Can we pull off another huge transfer to this new Man City squad? Are we going to be able to pull off Donnarumma with crucial 4 years? He's asking for a release clause, but we deny it. And now on to the most important part for this player, the wages. We give him a nice little bonus as well. And just like that, Donnarumma is the newest signing to Manchester City. As we weren't able to sign Araujo from Barcelona, we looked to buy Bastoni from Inter Milan. They lost the final, and we're looking to continue to keep him up there at a high level, except this time with Man City. Now, we were running out of money. There was a player I wasn't able to get rid of, who I didn't really see, in my plans, and that was Nathan Ake. So I go ahead and put him in, as well as offer 100 million, hoping they would accept. And just like that, a little bit more money. We go and accept that offer. Now, the last little bits in order to sign this center back, this freaking skyscraper of a beast. The contract giving him a crucial squad role. 3-year length. Obviously, no release clause. And now headed into the wages. We got to give him a little bump compared to where he was at. And a nice little signing bonus. And just like that, Bastoni is the newest Manchester City player as we're having a full-on rebuild. As we take a look at this team, it is looking great from the subs to the bench, who we still got to get rid of some. It is looking good. And look at this. We got a huge offer from Real Madrid for Erling Haaland, but Erling is a crucial part of my team, so I reject. Now, I have been accepting some transfer offers and loan offers. I didn't want to show all of them because of how much people were trying to get rid of. For example, this guy, he's out, as well as Phillips, who is headed to Brentford for 5.2 million. Another huge offer from Erling Haaland. Not tempting though, as Haaland is too crucial. More players out as we have Echeverry headed out on a 12-month loan to Bournemouth, as well as Kyle Walker headed out of Man City on a full transfer. This guy interrupting my speech, loaned out, I guess. Super important, wow. But Kyle Walker headed to Nottingham Forest for $10 million. As the days went on, we got invited to a couple preseason tournaments. However, I decided to reject all as I want to focus with my players. And we got some interesting offers. Rodri potentially heading to Man United. No. We also had Liverpool trying to buy back Trent. However, that is not happening. We now hop into our first game of the season. Can we get the victory? No. We take a huge embarrassing loss to Spurs. We had more shots, more possession, but Spurs get the victory and we take the L. Despite that, we still took a W because we have been able to get rid of a lot of the junk here at the club. And we now are headed into our first match here at home. What a beautiful stadium as we face off against Bournemouth and get that 2-0 victory now against Crystal Palace. Can we get another one? Yes, we can. 3-0. Now we're starting to stack up some victories. Deadline day coming to an end. We bought a lot of players and we think we're ready. If we need to buy anyone, January transfer window, we'll buy some more players. Now against Leeds, looking to continue to win. And even though we had more shots and more possession, we tie. But now we move quickly right into the next match. This time, Champions League action against Barcelona. We took a lot of their players. Can we get the victory? Yes, we can. 2-0. We're able to beat Barcelona. And as we're finishing up this episode, this is the team, the starting 11 and the bench that we are going to be going into this first half of the season with. As I mentioned, if we need to buy more people, I'll go ahead and do it in the January transfer window, But for now, these are the players we're stuck with. And once more, if I need to buy some more players, I am ready to do so. We have a lot of the best players here on my short list. And I am ready to add more if that needs to be done. So no worries. As we look at the table, we're not first. We sit in 6th place. We are tied with a couple of teams, but Brighton in first place. And in the Champions League, tied for first, but with a whole lot of teams. That's all the way down to FC Porto. We're all tied and only separated by goal differential, but still doing pretty good in the Champions League for now. As we look at the top scorers, all the way down at the very bottom of the list, same with the assists, and we are nowhere to be seen on the top scorers or assists for the Champions League. But anyways, that is it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of the Manchester City rebuild. In the next episode, we continue to try to move forward, both up in the Premier League, but also the Champions League, as we look to become the best team in the world. Thank you so much. Have a great day.